to my YouTube channel. Today I want to give you a really quick relaxer update. I did have about half an hour to shoot. I'm using all the light that I can in my apartment right now so that I can just give you a quick helpful relaxer update, including tips leading up to your relaxer. So right now I am 10 weeks post relaxer. I'm going to relax my hair next week because I found out recently that we are able to go on holiday and we decided to go to the beach, and I'm super excited about that. But I was going to stretch my relaxer to about 12-13 weeks, but I decided that I'm not going to risk it and have problems with detangling and spending a lot of time looking after and nurturing my regrowth. I decided that I would rather than just relax my hair. So next week will be 11 weeks and I'm going to relax my hair then so that I can just breathe easy and my hair is easier to manage. With my new routine, I've really been able to look after my regrowth, and it's a lot softer, and I can't wait to relax it and have it be an easier process this time, just because I've been looking after my regrowth. But this is not a video about regrowth. Let me know if you want that one. That's a separate video, but today I wanted to really share with you tips and tricks of how to prepare for your hair relaxer in the week leading up to that relaxer. So let's get to it. Okay, so I just really want to add, as I said, I am 10 weeks post relaxer. I'm going to relax next week, so that's going to be 11 weeks. And tip number one of hair relaxers is do not follow the instructions on the box. The box usually say, so just to mention, I do use a box relaxer and I relax my hair at home. I always have. I don't yet trust any hair salon to do my relaxer for me, so I buy the normal box relaxer. As I've mentioned in my previous video of how I accidentally Texlax my hair, I am a big fan of ORS. I use the ORS regrowth little kit at home, and that has really worked for me. That's what I use, and I find that the more you stretch out your hair relaxer, the better, because relaxing your hair too often can really weaken it, make it brittle, and then it breaks. The other thing about stretching your hair relaxer is that you give a chance for proper regrowth. You do not want to be so impatient that you're relaxing your hair 6 to 8 weeks and your hair has barely gotten a chance to grow. And of course that comes with a great routine, that comes with eating well, drinking lots of water, tips and tricks. I have made a video about that, so please make sure, I'll link it down below. Tips and tricks to basically grow really long and healthy hair that have worked for me this year. It really is best practice to stretch your hair relaxer to more than what the box says. So the box says 6 to 8 weeks. You should actually stretch it between 8 to 12 or even 12 to 16 some people. But an important tip or important thing to note is if you are stretching your hair relaxer, don't go from relaxing your hair every 6 weeks to suddenly going to 12 weeks. You want to stretch your hair over a gradual period and allow your hair to get used to this new stretching and waiting it out. And in the meantime, you obviously are definitely looking after your regrowth, making sure it's moisturized and softer so that by the time you have stretched your hair relaxer a little bit longer, your hair isn't suffering too much. And as you can see, my regrowth looks really good. It also feels really soft. It feels a lot different than what it's felt like in the past because I've been looking after my regrowth really well. And even my hairdresser commented and said, wow, you know, your hair is really seriously easy to manage despite being 10 weeks post-relax, and usually it isn't like that, and that comes from really looking after your roots. So a lot of people are like, I can't tell that you are 9 weeks or 10 weeks post-relax, but I can, so that's the point. But a week before I relax my hair, what I like to do is boost the protein in my hair by doing a protein treatment. So I'm actually very excited to use this. This is the Apogee Serious Care and Protection 2-Step Protein Treatment. I've heard a lot about it. I had to order it off Amazon because unfortunately it's not available anywhere in South Africa, not that I know of. If you do know, please let me know. But I did pay a pretty penny to be able to get this. But basically, because your hair relaxer essentially breaks the protein bonds in your hair, you want to put the protein back into your hair ahead of your hair relaxer. Some people do it after. Different things work for different people. I'm not saying it's an exact science. There are plenty of people with long, beautiful, relaxed hair who have different routines. It's about finding what works for you. But for me, I really like the logic in before I relax, I put in a protein deep condition. So this one is from Apogee. So I'm going to put this protein treatment in first and then follow it with a moisture deep condition, because the truth is deep condition can be quite harsh on your hair and you'll feel it in the texture. It will be a little bit coarse, a little bit grassy. So I like to follow it up with a moisture deep condition. Okay. So tip number 2 is to not wash your hair ahead of your relaxer. The reason being is that you want enough protection. It sounds a little bit gross, but you want enough buildup on your scalp because you're not supposed to be relaxing your scalp. Your relaxer is not supposed to touch your scalp, affect your scalp, and if you have that burning sensation, that's exactly what happens. So you don't want that. You want your scalp to be protected because only your regrowth, I repeat, only your regrowth, not the rest of the strands of your hair, only your regrowth is what you want to actually relax on relaxer days. So it's really important that you don't wash your hair for a good amount of time before that. What do I mean by a good amount of time? Some people say 3 days. I like to keep it safe. I'm pretty conservative that way, and I like to wash it a week before, and that is it. For those who exercise, which you should exercise if you want good hair, because it stimulates the health of your hair as well. For those who exercise, I would say stop exercising about 3 days before your hair relaxer is probably a safe bet. My third and final tip is to leave your hair alone. I would say your hair should not be in a tight protective style that is going to make it curly. Simple reason being is that you want to be able to see your regrowth when you are relaxing your hair. You don't want to confuse with what is already relaxed. What is a perfect underlying thread in all of this preparation leading up to your hair relaxer is you don't want to over process. That is what leads to breakage. And what do I mean by over processing? For those who are wondering, it's basically when the hair relaxer touches your already relaxed or processed hair. And that can easily lead to breakage because it's over processing. That hair has already been processed, doesn't need any more, and now if you're messing with it, it could literally just snap. It's never happened to me before, and I've heard a lot of horror stories around it. You don't want to over process. So it is a very important underlying golden thread throughout all these preparation steps of how you want to avoid overprocessing. So my theory, and this is completely logical, this is me being super practical as a process engineer, is that you don't want your hair in tight protective styles. Why? Because your hair in tight protective styles like cornrows or whatever that were left tend to have your hair in tension. And what happens when your hair is in tension is that it stretches, it stretches, it stretches. If you tug and pull and scratch and whatever, then the logical conclusion is that hair snaps because it's become weaker over time from being stretched and stretched and stretched. So my personal advice would be to wear it in loose styles, you know, just let it hang a little bit, protect your ends, sure, but personally this little thing is one of my favorite things. It is the easiest way for me to sort of protective style my hair. I simply just twist it up and close it in like that. Sometimes I tuck my ends in and there my hair is up out of my face. I leave it alone and it's in a loose enough style that it's kind of free, but it's also protected. It's not rubbing up against my clothes. It's not in hectic tension. I just really get to leave it alone and not worry about it anymore. You also want to be able to see your regrowth. You want to be able to comb it out nicely so that there's no confusion between your already processed hair and your regrowth that still needs to be processed, which is the reason you are relaxing your hair. Sculpt. So going back to the whole sculpt thing is you want to protect your hair. Don't scratch it. You don't want to be scratching and irritating your scalp leading up to your hair relaxer, because if you scratch your scalp, you are taking off any protective layer, any boundary between that hair relaxer and your scalp. So that could also then lead to the fact that your hair relaxer comes into contact with your scalp and causes that burning sensation and possibly chemical burns, which you absolutely want to avoid. And part of my point number 3 of leave your hair alone in general includes using no heat. You should not be blow drying, straightening, pulling and tugging, doing lots of things with your hair leading up to your hair relaxer. You want to have your hair calm and relaxed and ready to be relaxed, as opposed to under strain with pulling and tugging, whether it's protective styles every night or for the whole week. You want to keep it moisturized and strong and healthy, as opposed to brittle and under strain and tug and pull. Those are my 3 main tips for preparing leading up to the hair relaxer. I hope this really helped. These are things for me that have made a big difference. I never paid attention to it before that much until you realize, wait a second, every time I relax my hair, it's not really growing, it doesn't seem to be getting stronger, it's really weak, and you don't know why. That's because maybe you're not putting enough protein into your hair, you're not giving it a fair, strong chance to be really strong and healthy even when you relax your hair. I found these tips to be game changers for me leading up to my hair relaxer, being a little bit more intentional, realizing what works, what doesn't, what your hair actually needs. And that comes from a bit of education, of researching what hair relaxer actually is. So many of us didn't know. So I've only been relaxed for 10 years, but I realized that there's so many things I never paid attention to, and I wasn't getting the results that I wanted. And I thought I wanted to really share as I learned with you. I really wanted to give you guys a better chance by sharing the things that have really worked on my hair. Let me know if this was helpful. Please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more useful, helpful tips and tricks. Don't forget to subscribe so that you know whenever I post more helpful tips and tricks videos to help you on your hair relaxer journey, on our hair relaxer journey. Please let me know what else you want to see. I'm happy to serve and happy to share. So yeah, I think that's it. I did a lot of talking today, but I hope that it really helped someone out there. Thank you so much for watching. Your support is so very much appreciated, and please let me know. Would love to engage with you in the comment section. Let me know what else you're looking forward to. Let me know if you've experienced any more good tips that I maybe didn't mention and don't know about. Let me know if there are other videos or other things that you want to know about that are slightly more nuanced inside this list. I'm happy to share and prepare things that would help people. Yeah, otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Your support is so greatly appreciated. Have a great day. Bye.